So our play is pretty much Alice in Wonderland from Cheshire Cat's perspective. Um, so I will be doing the set design portion of the play. So our play would take place in the proscenium stage. It is a classical type of stage community used in theater. What's the most used? This staging design accommodates nearly any type of production or show. In this layout, all the audience members face in one direction. Just kind of make the stage a focal point, of course. It's really simple with a raised platform that's framed with curtains that open and close. This allows for seamless transitions of scenes where props and costumes need to be changed out. Masking would also be necessary as a backdrop in order to hide the interchangeable props in between scenes. The right and the left wings would be useful for this task. So the opening scene would just be a singular cherry blossom tree, pretty much where Alice would, be sitting under the tree, and whenever she falls down into, Wonderland. Just to kind of give a stark contrast between where she is living in reality compared to the theme that I'm going for. The tone, pretty much, that I'm going for is dark in origin. This consists of dark neutral tones with singular standout color, like orange, for example, in this picture. This would add some depth or importance to an individual or prop during a scene. So this is pretty much what I would be going for, just kind of like a dark ambiance, like wooded area, as an example, like a bioluminescent like pathway is kind of mimicking, the yellow brick road in a way. And then throughout the play, script, Cheshire Cat comes in and out, vanishes out of thin air, appears out of thin air, vanishes, vice versa. So in order to mimic this, Cheshire Cat usually floats around. So it's an example of what we would possibly use, just kind of like a rig to set actor or prop cat to make them seem like they're just kind of like floating around. Love that movie, by the way. Setting the mood wise, with the dark ambiance in mind, I would like to implement a fog machine to envelop the forest floor and add depth to the stage as well. Just kind of give more to that vibe. Another idea that I had was adding a backlight, a black light, and painting props like trees, foliage, with neon paint to give a sense of bioluminescence, to add even more depth to dimly lit scenes, to bring some composition to set props. As far as the lighting goes, a spotlight would be primarily used. Again, like I said, it's more so lit up by the neon paint, I guess, is what I was saying, under the black light. And we would just use the spotlight for selective visibility. For example, whenever Cheshire Cat pops in and out of thin air, spotlight would be used to focus in on him while he is present. They are present. Going back to setting the mood, the moon, of course, would be kind of like a focal point also, just to kind of add more, depth to the tone. So lighting continued, schism would be beneficial as well. In the scenes where the space needs to appear small and intimate, the fabric could be lit up from the front to give it more of an opaque backdrop. On the flip side, when the area needs to feel expansive, it can be lit from the back to add more depth to the particular scene. And then as far as moving the props around the stage, the trees, foliage, and the rabbit's house, like I'll show here in a second, can be placed on wagons with casters in order to move the props with ease during a scene or during a scene change. Let's see, and that is can't draw that worth of nothing. But that would be the rabbit's house. You know, it's mentioned in the script that he's running around saying he's late all the time. And once again, adding to the dark mood or tone of the play would be kind of like a cabin in the woods type of thing. And then there's also a scene where, of course, you know, she eats the biscoff. She grows big and small, and then she, you know, ends up in a pool of her own tears, and this is kind of what I would envision it to look like. And I do have my rough sketch of the stage, so I'll show that here in just a second. So here is my rough sketch of my stage, or our stage. Of course, this would be the main acting area. I only drew a rough sketch of this because it was very hard to fit all of that into here. So of course the audience would be right here, the left and right wing, or vice versa. I think I got them flopped around. But this is pretty much where all of our props would be stored in between scenes. And of course, you know, the drapes would be closed during the scene change. And then, of course, change these things out and then opening them back up whenever the next scene is ready. Of course, this is the backstage, the downstage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you my little loaves that are running around. So that is Luke. He's our youngest. That is Leia. She is our middle child, I guess. That is our boy. That's Lex. He's our oldest boy. And this is Miss Ma'am. That's Lena. She's our oldest. She's our oldest, I know.